I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the founder of the Food Truck Training Group on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101. And I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. Today, we're going to answer the question, should you join the Chamber of Commerce? They're designed to help local businesses. That's what they do, Chamber of Commerce. And they help businesses by fostering relationships. Networking is what we're doing. And they foster those relationships between the entrepreneurs, the businesses, the local government, and the community. You want to think of the Chamber of Commerce as that pass to a wealth of opportunities. For example, food truck owners in a city like Austin or Portland have leveraged Chamber of Commerce memberships to secure prime event spots, to be able to participate in local business initiatives, and even influence policies that impact the street food vendors. So what do you get when you join the Chamber of Commerce? You're not just getting a title as being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, you're also gaining access to a whole bunch of business owners, suppliers, and local officials. Pretty much every active Chamber of Commerce will have some type of mixer event. They may call it something different, but it's a place where all the different businesses and representatives from those businesses get together and mingle. They share stories. They talk about what kind of events are coming up. And guess who they're going to talk to about catering? Food truck owners, because you're already there. Because that'll be one of the first things that come up when they start talking about any kind of event. If it's going to be a long enough event where they got to feed people, the question is, who is going to cater this? Now, yes, there'll be some restaurants that'll be members of the chamber, but then there's also food trucks that should be members of the Chamber of Commerce, and you're already mobile. Whereas the restaurant who's going to cater, they got to cook it in their restaurant and then bring it. And what happens when they're transporting the food? It's cooling off. But you can bring your food truck there and set up and give them the hottest possible, highest quality food they could get, and probably for a better price. Food truck owners typically don't join because it costs money, but people want to embrace food trucks. Government wants to embrace. The rules and regulations are changing all around the country, partly because people are getting involved and becoming a part of the community rather than just trying to hide and sell their stuff whenever they can. Another reason to join the Chamber of Commerce is advocacy and influence. Chamber of Commerces are well known for their advocacy work. And what that means is they want to make the rules and regulations easier on business. Even though it's called the Chamber of Commerce and it feels like it's a government entity, it is not. It is just a private organization that wants to foster economic growth in an area. And they can't foster economic growth when the local government's trying to stop people from making money. And we see that a lot in food truck circles where the local government doesn't want food trucks because, oh my God, the restaurants can't handle it. So think about it. Would you rather navigate the complex regulations alone or have somebody in your corner like the Chamber of Commerce? Because you'll get to meet attorneys, you'll get to meet probably some city officials. And once they understand what the rules and regulations are impacting a food truck, they may be more willing to change them. Because now they got a face to the business. It is much more difficult for people to be mean to you face to face than it is for them to just be mean to the group. Oh, we hate food trucks. We don't want them because they hurt restaurants. Well, why do you want to pick one business over another? Because that's what they're doing, but they don't realize it because they don't have a face. They don't have that person. It's just an entity. We can be mean to a food truck. You also get opportunities for education and resources and workshops and networking and all the really positive business aspects that you may need support with. The neat thing about what the chamber, especially active chambers, do is they put on workshops and seminars and training sessions specific to your area. It's not generic stuff. It's not generic, oh, this is how you do something. And it works in big cities. The information you'll get will be done by local people that have already walked that particular path. And they do all different kind of topics, from marketing to social media to understanding the health regulations to just understanding good business practices. It's a great way to stay updated, and then also it's a way to get yourself out there in front of people, because every class is going to be a whole bunch of other people that may have need for a food truck to cater some kind of business opportunity that they have. So join the chamber and then participate. When they've got classes, do it. So it always comes down to dollars and cents when we're talking about food trucks and food truck ownership. So what's the breakdown on the return on investment, the ROI? Is it worth it? Membership fees are typically they're going to be reasonable. Now they may seem expensive to you, but in general they are reasonable. And then when you compare the benefits that you get, just the exposure, but the exposure only works if you actually show up and talk to people. It's a small investment in your business. So where do you start? You want to just research the local Chamber of Commerce membership fees and then what the benefits are and balance those two things. If it's $1,000 a year, it's $1,000 a year. Is there $1,000 worth of value there? It's just like your menu. When people walk up to the food truck and they see that one thing that they want there to be value there for them to give you their hard-earned money. It's the same thing. The Chamber of Commerce has value, but does it have value to you? Probably does, but you got to expand your thinking. It's not just pay them $1,000 and then cross your fingers and hope that you get business from it. It is pay them $1,000 and then participate. You attend meetings. Every time there's a meeting, you go to it. You volunteer. You become a leader. So when they say, hey, we're looking for, and it doesn't have to be a way for you to sell stuff. It could be something you're already really good at. We're looking for someone to lead this committee. Lead it. Now, I'm going to tell you something that sadly happens to most food truck owners. They think all they got to do is throw open the window and they'll be busy. The food truck is a people magnet. They don't need any kind of networking. They don't need to do any kind of marketing. They don't need to do anything except pull up and then rake in a bunch of cash. That's not how it works. Yes, there are some events you go to where that's literally all you have to do is throw open the window and stay busy till you run out of food. Those are the exceptions. The everyday owner that's out there making a life for themselves is driving around to different areas. They are parking in front of breweries or on the side of the street or in a parking lot, and they've done social media and they have marketed themselves and they attract guests. When you join the Chamber of Commerce, you expand your marketing reach because now you got a whole bunch of people that probably don't know you exist, and you have to get involved. You can't just throw $1,000 at them and expect to be busy because it won't happen. Oh, I'm a member. Why aren't they coming to eat? Give them a reason to come eat. Supply food for something. We used to do that when we were part of the Chamber of Commerce. They had a meeting once a month. They did a breakfast, and they would always have different restaurants bring whatever their particular food was, whether it be donuts or sandwiches or coffees. They would bring food. And of course, all the members could eat for free that came to that meeting. We usually have 30, 40 people at it. And those 30 or 40 people were people you want to meet. They were in all different walks of life. There were realtors and attorneys, and there were all different kind of people there. And all of them, number one, they eat. Number two, they have clients that, guess what, want to eat too. And they may have businesses with lots of employees that they may want to feed from time to time. So you can get private gigs and you can get caterings. The Chamber of Commerce is an opportunity. And the key to that opportunity is spending a little bit of money and joining the Chamber of Commerce. One of the other advantages to being a part of the Chamber of Commerce is there are a lot of events that the Chamber of Commerce will sponsor. Some of them are very obvious and they will say sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, and others are a little bit more subtle. And you may not realize that this particular event is sponsored by, either in full or in part, by the Chamber of Commerce. And these events can do one of two things. It can either be some place for you to sell food and make money, or it can be a place for you to increase your brand's visibility. Depends on what the event is. It could be a community affair. It could be a charity drive. It could be a local food festival. Hey, there's something you could join. Those are the moments when your food truck business can shine. But then there's also events that perhaps they're not going to do food at all, but you need to participate. Pass out business cards, pass out flyers that talk about catering. That's what networking is. There is not a one-to-one relationship. You don't pass out one business card and get an event from it. You have to pass out hundreds of business cards or hundreds of flyers and get one or two people to participate. The one or two people that participate pay for what you just spent in business cards and flyers. And then, of course, you're going to make a whole bunch of money on it. But you don't get to make that money if you don't show up. So here's the practical steps. Research your local Chamber of Commerce. If you live in an area where there's multiple Chamber of Commerce, start with the one that's going to give you the most exposure and also one that you're licensed in that particular area. Attend a meeting or an event. So before you commit to spending money, just attend a meeting. Attend a networking event. Chambers will always have that membership drive meeting, and there's a good place to go. Who's there? Are these the kind of people that you want to hang out with? And most likely they're going to be. If they make you feel uncomfortable, you might want to look to see why do they make you feel uncomfortable. Are they more professional than you? Are they more businesslike than you? And if they are, you might want to work on yourself and your own professionalism but that's showing you that there is a weakness in your armor. Out of all the different chambers I've been a part of, and I've been a part of everyone I've lived in. So Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, Georgia, Florida, the Virgin Islands, they even had a Chamber of Commerce. It was mostly about tourism, but it's still a Chamber of Commerce. I was a part of all of those in those different states, and in Florida example, many cities. You have to be a part of the chamber. Talk to other food truck owners. Find out if they're a part of the Chamber of Commerce or not. Most likely they're not, because it's an investment, and most food truck owners don't have that kind of extra money. But I can tell you the ones that are most successful as food truck owners, they're the ones that are part of the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, you want to review your own cash flow. Do you have the money to spend to get into this? If you don't, you need to start setting money aside and then get into it when you can afford it. But don't wait for you to be able to afford it, because you'll never be able to afford it. Set money aside. If it costs $1,000, and start setting $20 a week aside. You'll eventually be able to join the Chamber of Commerce. But if you don't set that goal and start funding it, you'll never join. And then you'll never have that opportunity to grow the business as much as you possibly could. And then the last thing is, once you join, get involved. You can't just throw money at them and then hope you're going to be busy and hope they'll realize that, oh, there's a food truck here, maybe we can use Indicator. Doesn't happen. You've got to get out there and get involved. You cannot sit on the sidelines. You want to get active in committees. You want to volunteer for events. You want to share what you know. And remember, just because you join as a food truck doesn't mean you're locked into only sharing food truck knowledge. If your past life is a different business, share those experiences as well. Show that you have more to offer than, I can sell you a hamburger. You got to get out of your comfort zone. One way to get out of your comfort zone is to network with other people. You're going to see, when you go to these kind of events, you're going to see the shy people. You're going to see the boisterous people. You're going to see the outgoing people. And then you're going to fit somewhere within one of those groups. It's okay. You'll have company. But you got to get out there and push yourself to do more than you've done in the past. Because if you don't push yourself and challenge yourself to do something that you feel uncomfortable about, you're going to continue to get the same results. If you're not happy with where you are today and you don't do something to change tomorrow, well, tomorrow's going to be just like today. Examine your Chamber of Commerce. It can be a good opportunity. And just like any opportunity, there are good and bad ones. Now, I will say that of all the different Chamber of Commerces I've worked for, and I went through and counted, and there's been 32 of them, all of them but one were good. And the one that wasn't good was in a small community, and it was kind of dying. No one just really cared. So that was the only time that the chamber wasn't valuable. Had I had more time and a little bit more experience when I joined this one, I probably could have made it be a good one too. But Bill was very young back then, and it wasn't a very active chamber. That's why you want to go check them out before you spend money. And if the city that you live in doesn't have a good chamber, that doesn't mean the next city over doesn't have a good one. Don't judge all of them by one. Like I said, my record is 31 good ones and one bad one. So I want you to think about the potential growth your food truck could have if you had the whole community backing you up. And the whole community starts with the Chamber of Commerce. That shows you're a part of the community. That's why I talk about QSCC, Quality Service Cleanliness. That's QSC, the last C being community. Part of the community is being in the chamber, getting the whole community behind you, showing that you are not just a leech to be there to get sales and then don't care about anything else, but to be there to help your community grow and become a better place for your kids and your grandkids and other people coming into the community. It starts with the entrepreneurs, the ones that are creating the economy, the ones that are making the city either awesome, the ones that are helping the economy in that city. You got to be a part of it. So don't just say it costs money, I can't afford it. Figure out a way to afford it. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding everything that we do helpful, please consider subscribing. If you love what we do, we've got a link in the description. You can show some support. Every little bit does help keep us going. Until next time, you guys have a profitable week.